Okay, so that is technically the end of block one. It's at this point that if we were playing a primary adventure, you would be back off to the Gauntlet or back off to the Circus of Wayward Wonders or whatever you were doing in your primary adventure. We do not have that arranged with this group, so feel free to go around. Let's take a couple minutes. What does everybody do in the next couple months while we're getting ready for this runoff election?
Well, what I would have done, with perhaps some help from someone else, is there were some river drakes attacking the lighthouse at 20, and I must protect that location of the holy fire that protects us from the dangers of the water. It's very metaphorical, so of course I had to come to their aid, and yes, and also I spent some time catching up on and putting into practice my knowledge of orc tattoos and stuff. So
Ooh.
know how to do that now.
So, since I was already going to be helping Dem with the fire, I actually make sure that Pralt is there to help deal with the, for the image and kind of like, that was like my setup was like, okay, like the owl bear fighter is now helping put out fight. He can fight fires and owl bears. You want him fighting for you. Like that's like the new slogan. Like
Good. Art is going to be his hype man. I think Bomba is also helping around the town as much as he can. He's also helping Gog with the drakes and things. But in those battles, I feel like he's not as effective as he would like to be, as perhaps he used to be. So for viewers who didn't catch the first episode, Bomba is actually a dwarven cleric of Gorham, but through a magical mishap has been transformed into a poppet and is kind of dealing with that situation. So I think he would have gone to see Pralt as well, to talk through what his options were from a legal standpoint. Yeah.
Hmm.
So he's he goes to see Pralt. He sort of knocks on his door. Pralt opens. He sees this tiny little poppet standing, looking a little bit forlorn on his doorstep. Invites him in, and after a little while, Bomba sort of relaxes as much as he can, and he says, "Pralt, I don't know how much longer I can take being trapped in this body. Every day feels like an eternity." And he holds up one of his arms. Some of the sort of loose strands, he's now made of sackcloth. They sort of drift in the breeze, but he can't feel that. And he says, "I miss being able to see, to feel the sun on my skin, the scent of pine trees in the air, and even to taste food. And I know you're a busy man, Pralt. I know with the election and everything that you've got a lot coming up, but and I believe in what you're doing, but I implore you to find a way to help me. I used to go on adventures and make a difference in the world, but now I just feel cast aside, like the child's plaything that I think I am now. And please, I need somebody to fight for me for a change, somebody to believe in me, and show me that there's still hope. Is that something that you can do? I hate to ask, but I don't know any other way to fight, and maybe the legal recourse is the only one left open to me."
So, two things. First, please take a hero point for that wonderful, wonderful monologue. Secondly, Pralt nods. He's obviously gotten to know the four of you very well, and has heard your story kind of secondhand. But maybe you haven't told him it directly yet. And he pledges he's going to do everything he can. Obviously, he's a lawyer, not a wizard, but he is familiar with some Absalomian laws and programs and subsidies that can help, pay for, some of these rituals that might be out there to, do these kind of transformations back. And so he's going to start looking into that. And so he kind of takes you on as another one of his community clients, if that makes sense.
Thank you, Pralt. I can't pay much, but whatever I can, it's yours. I'm truly grateful.
And he says, "Oh no! This is you're on part of the community retainer with Axeside. This is just I'll just roll it right in with that."
And he just looks up at him with his mismatched button eyes, and even in those you can see the emotion, and he's too choked to say anything else. So he just nods and makes his farewell. He's a good guy. He's got my vote.
I think that just leaves us with Danya.
How can I follow that? So at least in the immediate aftermath of last time, Danya is almost kind of getting like in a staring contest with Icrinar. I'm sorry, our prophet of Yundarun, trying to see what he sees, trying to get sense out of him. And I don't know if I'm able to get anything about, well, how did you see? What are you seeing? So that's probably a project she spends some time on.
Yeah, so do you envision Danya kind of going to see him individually, or do you want to take the entire group?
I don't know. She definitely wants to go. She wants to get some future seeing one-on-one time. Not the rest of the people might not understand that, but if the group wants to do a more traditional interrogation, she'll support that as well.
Okay, why don't we play out then sort of your maybe personal reconnaissance with him, and then if you decide at some point I want to bring in the rest of the group, you can do that.
Okay.
So Icrinar has been relocated to the Seed Sickle Temple for his wounds to be treated and his mind to be eased. This is sort of the one of the main churches in the in Maravan. They venerate this pantheon that sort of celebrates the cycle of planting trees, growing them, harvesting them, building with them, and then planting again. So the sort of this sustainability cycle.
Don't forget the fires.
And don't forget the fires, yes.
It's part of it.
Fire
Yep.
must purge, yep. And so the town guard has chained his ankle to the bed for safety because they haven't really assessed what's going on with him yet. And so as you go in and you talk to the clerics that have been kind of trying to calm him down, trying to figure out what on earth is going on with him, they're not sure what's going on, but they've got some possibilities in mind. So it might be that he's having trouble processing his bloodline powers, because you did identify him as an orc-blooded sorcerer. If so, they can get him to Absalom for some help. Maybe some folks at the Arcanumerium or something can help him learn to get those under control. They don't know what his mental state is like, so if he's mentally unwell, he can also go to Absalom for could be treated psychologically, that they don't really have the resources for here. They've identified he doesn't have any immediate family in the area, but he does have a distant cousin also in Absalom who's willing to take him. And so it's sort of like no matter what goes on, he's headed to Absalom at the end of this, right? Once he's well enough to travel.
Well,
and so that kind of puts you at ease, I imagine, because you don't have to deal with him long term. But the one thing none of them seems willing to talk about, what if Yundarun is real? And no one's ever heard of this thing before? Like, that's the thing they don't seem to want to talk about with him.
Can I say I think Yundarun is real? Like, I saw it, he was crazy and trying to, come fight us about it, but, there's a good chance that sputtering came from somewhere.
Yeah, so do you ask him about that?
Yeah, I'll definitely ask. What have you seen about Yundarun?
Oh, I was wandering in the foothills. They said I couldn't practice magic in the village. That's when I saw him hurtling into the sky, fire in his voice, and the wind in his wings, and the ocean in his tears, and the earth in his bones. Yundarun, he said his name was. I passed out from the vision, and when I awoke, I saw this symbol, and he points to that pendant that he had on, that you noticed is the same symbol that he had placed on the bunyips, and that oddly Bomba has on his foot.
I was just going to mention that. Yeah.
He says, I saw that symbol in the rock, and so I forged it as a measure of my devotion.
Wow. They seem to have had quite the elemental experience.
Well, sometimes we need to be careful with how we carry out our visions. Just something to think about if you get any more in the future.
Did he give you visions too?
No.
Did they? Oh, okay. Just thought we should check.
That was my joke at a deception check. No, actually, it should be yes, totally, yes. Saw great visions of dragon wings and stuff, and coming to but I didn't see the depth that you did. So what does Yundarun want with Maravon? I just saw that he exists.
Go ahead and make a deception check.
I did, and I didn't roll that well. That's why I'm.
Okay.
Is that public? I think so. I only got a 12.
Yeah. So even with adjusting the DC, that's a failure. And
no, exactly.
He's like, I can tell that you want to believe, my child, and perhaps I can help you see him. Perhaps we could return to where I saw the vision. Would you take me there?
Huh. Let me consult my augurs about if that is wise, and then I will come back and discuss with you. And sometime after this session, I talk to the rest of the group about this, because I don't want to take this guy out alone. Hey, do you think this is worth pursuing?
Oh, they wouldn't let you take him out alone. Are you kidding me?
I'll consult the rest. Do you think this is worth, if going exploring what he saw, or if we're just going to put this down to that was I don't know. I'm asking the rest of the group what they think, if this is worth pursuing.
It sounds like they had quite the portentous experience. I cannot deny these signs if they are coming to a person. I think it is a good idea. I want to learn what they have seen.
Oh.
Yes, you two are the experts when it comes to the fates and the signs, but one thing I do know is that I am marked with the same symbol as he described, and I want to know more about that. I would ask him about it if perhaps he'll talk to me in some way and believe that I am, I don't know, special or chosen.
And Jamie, just to sort of calibrate, about how long ago was Bomba's transformation?
So I've been going on the assumption that it's still quite new to him, which is why he's adjusting. He's still adjusting, so no longer than 6 months, I would say.
Okay, as you've kind of talked to Icrinar, you get the idea his is even more recent than that he had this vision maybe about a month ago.
Oh, wow.
Mm. I mean, I'd like to follow up on it.
Okay.
I'd like to take him out if we're able to.
Artie,
I don't mean like take him out.
No.
I'm very on board.
Okay.
I would like to learn more of where this power comes from.
Yes.
I like to answer questions. Sounds like there's questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you actually you work with the clerics at the Seed Sickle Temple. You even help enlist Pralt's help to sort of draft up the waiver of liability of you taking a potentially unwell sorcerer out into the hillside. He's grateful to get to go outside. He doesn't seem to be a threat anymore. Like, he seems to have maybe recalibrated his expectations of like, well, Yundarun told me to go and claim the town in his name, but then didn't show up when I was going to be there, and so he's maybe questioning things a little bit there.
Scheduling. Tricky.
And so he leads you to the northeast, out along the Miners' Road, and you start picking your way through the Emmenwood, eventually getting into the foothills of the Kortos Mountains. And Bomba is having flashbacks at this point, because it's the exact same trail he took when he had his incident. And sure enough, Icrinar is turns off the road into this little ravine. The same destination that Bomba was taking. Yes, Dim, go ahead and do a survey wildlife. That would be wonderful.
Yeah, so if there's something strange around here, I should look for the signs of such things. Is it blind?
It does not have the secret check.
Yeah,
It's
so
a
I'll
survival
just...
check against a DC determined by the GM.
Yep, I will... Sometimes you just can't see your checks. Okay, here.
Nice.
That's really good. So we'll call that a critical success. You're able to identify there's really nothing out of the ordinary in terms of wildlife in this area, but the wildlife does seem a little bit skittish. You know, like they normally, I mean, they don't like humanoids coming by anyway, but they seem especially on edge and defensive. Like you're not getting into an encounter or anything. You're not rolling initiative with them, but you know, you kind of see them scurrying maybe even faster than usual.
I have nothing but mad memories of this place. It's good to be on our guard.
Yes. Seems other things are as well.
Does anyone else have any exploration activities they would like to invoke?
Oh, jeez. I don't think Stance of Secrets is exploration. Let me double check.
I don't
Or
think you
anything
can use
relevant, yeah.
this turn. Yeah.
It is. I don't think it is.
No. I love it, though. I mean, yeah, just generally be on guard, I guess. Scouting.
Yeah. I put on my war mask. I'm
Very nice.
looking for anything scary.
But yeah, you do. He picks your way along there. He seems to still be following the same path that Bomba had followed, but eventually he does divert from that path. Bomba, you kind of see out of the corner of your eye the cavern that you went into, where you had this magical backlash and you awoke a poppet, a branded poppet, no less. And he's able to show you the spot where he saw it, and sure enough, you do see a disturbance in the rock. It looks like it might have like collapsed back down on itself or something, but you do see like evidence that something happened here, and he does point to a stone that sure enough has engraved into it almost violently this dampersand dragon symbol.
And he didn't carve that, right?
He is saying he did not carve it. It definitely looks more detailed and refined than the ones he had made, because you remember the brand on the bunyips was a bit rough. It definitely looks better than that.
So I think when we first encountered this symbol, I did a religion check on it and had some information about the dampersand dragon. I wonder if it's worth doing that again.
Yeah, you would have had time to
the source.
We're gonna be here. Oh, sorry.
You'd have had time to do some research on it, so that's worth a second recall knowledge check, definitely.
If it helps, I'd like to actually take the 10-minute to cast Glimpse of the Future. Because I think that might give my... Oh, never mind. Bomba's perfectly okay.
I mean, we can add to that crit success if you want.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I think he's feeling very much on edge, and as he sees this symbol, he approaches it slowly, sort of runs one little hand over it to feel something strange here.
Let me actually go and open our Orcs Strong Together book that has all the information about the dampersand dragon, because you have definitely crit succeeded. Let's see, what is that in? Dampersand dragon is on page 21. All right.
With the curse or glimpse future, it's almost like time is a flat circle, and then like everything just comes to you at once about the dampersand dragon.
I think that fits in though, because I have this kind of vision of Bomba of having been a higher level and now he's reduced, and so maybe that he's having trouble recalling knowledge. The things that he used to know are all just fuzzy, and so perhaps with some help from Glimpse Future, it just sort of dawns on him again.
Oh,
like the synchronicity.
Chat, so we can all see what that is.
What's that, Helen?
I'm just dropping it in the chat so people can see what's in there.
Okay, perfect. So the dampersand dragon is a creature most often found in underground caves or ruins that are near areas of draconic activity. These creatures are born with the magical energies from multiple types of dragons that sort of saturate the land. And so that actually tracks with Yundarun's ravings about, the fire in his breath and the earth in his bones and the sea in his tears, that he might actually be describing something real here. That causes a draconic creature made from earth and rock to spring into existence. While they mostly act like true dragons, for inexplicable reasons, they seem to avoid adding magical equipment to their hordes. And so you actually rolled high enough, you know that they actually have this innate fear of magic, believing that spellcasters can just destroy them on a whim, and that they actually suffer penalties to demoralize checks against spellcasters, or made by spellcasters. We happen to have a party of entirely spellcasters, so that might be fun.
Oh
This
boy.
was not done on purpose.
Would you like to, I can tell you a couple other things specifically about dampersand dragons if you'd like to learn something else.
I think I'd like to.
Or you can save that in a pinch for another day.
Ooh.
Yes, let's do that. That'll be fun. If it ever comes up, let's try and make a note of that. But
I will make a note.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
these things, Gog, they almost seem composed of every element. I wonder if
They do.
perhaps you'd have some power over them more than the rest of us.
I wonder. Would I know any of that?
Yeah, why don't you make a nature check to see if you have an idea of how they interact with the elements?
Alright, made the roll.
Yeah, it sounds like it might be kind of a mess. Like, you're like, no, elements, they have their own planes, they have their own elementals. Elements are not supposed to be blended together. What is this guy talking about?
Yeah, this is strange. What a truly this almost seems not true. I don't know about this.
It definitely doesn't sound like primal magic, let's put it that way.
Yeah, definitely not the normal primal magic.
And Icrinar is reacting to all of this kind of like he kind of kneels down before the symbol. He maybe sketches out another copy of it or something, and maybe he's been very quiet and reflective this whole time that y'all have been investigating.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that it's on, is it just like a rock or?
Yeah, it's just like the rock face. It's just it almost looks like it got burned on there, like or carved on there, like maybe even by accident or something.
I'm looking around the area. If there's like a door or like something else here besides just the mark, just to make sure there's nothing lingering.
Yeah, no, you spend maybe an hour or two just looking around. Like I said, it looks like there might have been some disturbance in the earth, and then like some rock has kind of fallen in and filled it back in. Like you can tell something happened here, but it's not like, oh, there's the secret door to the dragon's lair or something.
Got it.
Oh, and I will give you this, Bomba. You also recall that dampersand dragons don't talk. And so you're not exactly sure how Icrinar got Yundarun's name if they never speak.
Interesting. And I relay that to the others. I don't know, is that the sort of thing that can be communicated via visions alone? I don't know
So
how
much
that works.
can be communicated through the minds and speakings of not words out loud.
I see.
Perhaps it was someone pretending.
I
Sowing
Yes, what do you-
secrets. and-
pretend damperstand. That's still not good.
It's very strange.
Shall we
Well,
take him back?
Yeah, I
any
guess we
other,
should go
Yeah.
back.
any other items
so,
of business out here? Yeah. Okay, so you take him back. He's actually grateful. This trip seems to have maybe brought him a little bit of closure, and you can tell like he's thinking through this a little bit differently, maybe deconstructing some of the things he was thinking before, and you think you might have actually helped him with this. So, That was a very kind offer for you to take him with you. So let's award everybody another hero point.
Thank you.
Yay!
Yeah.
I'm glad he's soothed.